Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome or welcome back to Billy Go's Prophetic Vessel. It's your girl Billy Go, and we got a message for you. Okay, and this message starts off with like a download channel message or whatever. So, as far as galactic wise, right? Galactic wise, when it comes to the reptilians, the grays, the mantis aliens, the ones that I be saying I have to do my little protocols with. And more than just them. Okay, because I can name a whole bunch. But some of them is the main ones. Um and I'm an Arcturian and an Anunnaki, and I know that some of them are known. We are known for some of our good things, and we're also known for some horrible things. Just like some human having a humanistic experience. Some humans are good and tried and true, and some are not. So that's how it works when it comes to the astral realms as well. When it comes to the darker galactic beings, their homes and planets are being shattered. Okay, shattered. So they have been attacking extra hard, which has been a contributing factor to an acceleration of aging, an acceleration of energy loss, time, just a whole lot of things that if you're not tuned in, if you're not paying attention to it, it just goes over your head. But it's 2026, and although this reading is timeless, like it's if you're coming across this, hopefully things have gotten better. And also, if you're coming across this, some things could be going on that maybe you're just not aware of, or you're aware of and you want more clarity on. So what it is they're using people that's having their humanistic experience, right? In particular, they're targeting the light being. Excuse me. In particular, they're targeting the light beings, but they're really trying to use the vessels of the dark beings, because like those are the ones that work for the dark side. So the ones that work for the dark side, they allow the entities to use them, right? So it's like the entities are trying to attach themselves to the ones who practice the dark arts, that do those practices, because then the people who practice the dark arts is able to do and utilize the tools to energy harvest, right? So like they're like, okay, ooh, go have sex with that person, right? The entity that's latched on to the person that's having the humanistic experience, they'll say go have sex with that person. And then as the person is having sex with that person, the entity is siphoning off that person. The entity is like, hey, I need you to go hang out with that person. It don't even have to be sex. It be just platonic. Just hang out with them. Go to dinner, go out to eat, go to a movie. And then the entire time you're wondering, oh, damn, why I feel so drained? Why I feel so, because this entity is attached to them, and they have permission to be attached, because the person that's practicing the dark arts is allowing the entity, right? But the entity is using them as a vessel. You know how people say God can use anybody. God uses people to help people out of situations. The entity uses people too. All right. And so but this is one of the ways that they're using people, because they're trying to. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He just gave me an example, and I ain't even gonna lie, because I really like the Venom Marvel movies. I really like the Venom Marvel movies. You know the movies Venom, and they have, I think, two or three movies of Venom. And Venom, he's an alien substance. He's a blob. And basically, and there's different species of it. He is one of many. And that's why in the last one, Carnage, if you remember that scene where like his host was like, go ahead and fight them. What you doing? Why you over here? And he was like, that's a red one. That's a red one. Like Venom didn't want to fuck with the other with the other blobs, right? Because they are, although they're in the family, they're still levels to the shit I'm getting. So the only way Venom was really able to survive was because of, and I don't want to say that he could survive, but he, remember how he always talks about he was from another planet? But in order for him to navigate the planet that he was on, like visiting, he had to have a host. And so it showed, so the movie is good, right? It's not really showing the downsides to what having this type of attachment can have. All right. Because again, the movie is good. Him and Venom became best friends, right? They made it work. They were able to have this sort of integration. All right. But again, like I said, the movie doesn't show the downsides of what having that type of attachment can have. Because although Venom is a fan fave because of the character that he played in that movie, not all blobs are like that. Not all entities are like that. When they attach to you, they are draining your life force. And I ain't gonna lie, when I was watching, I think it was either the second or the third Venom, Venom was trying to give advice to basically his host. His host was saying something, and then he was like, well, nobody's perfect at it. And I was like, oh, Venom has wisdom. And the positive energy that was next to me was like, he siphoned that wisdom, right? Like they was telling me, actually, he has that wisdom because he siphoned it, either from Eddie or from somewhere else, which meant that whoever he siphoned from took a loss, took a hit somewhere. That doesn't mean that they lost wisdom per se, but they took a loss somewhere in their life. That's the downside of having these type of attachments. I don't care how cool they may seem. But this is why we did a whole reading, because these galactic dark beings be watching me as well as the light ones. We gave a reading for y'all, and we gave a solution for what y'all can do so you can have your own energy without ever having to steal or siphon again. And I don't know why you still attacking. Because they're saying that because they don't want to take that route. They don't want to go that route. I don't know what else to say. You're going to have to take that up with God. So, needless to say, that's basically, and again, that's a more friendlier type of version, the movie Venom, right? These dark galactic beings ain't friendly. They're not being like Venom. They being like Carnage. That's how they be. If y'all saw the last Venom that came out, the newest one, there we go, the newest one with the red one, he was nothing nice. He was nothing friendly. He even killed, sorry YouTube, he even offed his own host. Venom never did that. When Venom and Eddie stopped being friends, Venom left. Venom was like, well, screw you then. Right? What he ended up needing, what did he ended up needing? Look, for those that seen it, remember the newest one. It's 2026. So Carnage. Venom needed food. He started to not feel well, right? So he ended up going to the corner store where he ran into the lady that knew who he was, and the lady he took over somebody else's body so he could walk around. But the person's body that he was trying to use wasn't an energetic match. So the person, I think, passed away by the time he got to the store, and he oozed out of the person. And the woman who knew Venom allowed him to have her for a second, and then that's when they was trying to get him and Eddie to be back friends again. So, but again, like I said, that's a much more friendlier version, but that's to show you a few of the downsides that can happen when the dark galactic being don't have what they need as far as food is concerned. What they need is food, which is energy. All right. This is why they try not to teach people that much about energy, because if they knew what they knew, none of the dark beings would have what they need without going through source to get it. When you don't go through source to get it, you're basically stealing. And source can use people to help you. So I'm not saying you can't go to people. But when you are going to somebody and you're sneaking and trying to, that's stealing. Right? So basically, these energies are using people that's having a humanistic experience. Other beings, the light workers, that's having these experiences. They're using these people and other beings that's willing to allow them to latch on to harvest, right? To live off of. That's why they do bloodline claimage. Oh, I claim this bloodline. This mine. I've been this motherfucker since the end of time. And that's because of uncanceled out vows and promises and different demonic contracts and stuff like that. That's why they retaliate when you start canceling contracts out, because then they feel like they don't have a place to live. Then they feel like they don't have nothing to eat. Oh, we understand why you do what you do, dark side. We understand. We see it. It's not the way to go. And I don't think we gonna see eye to eye when it comes to that. For some, because not everybody in the dark side is the same, and not everybody in the dark side is attacking you. And those are the ones that God is going to do what he's gonna do. As a partial indulgence. For the others, though, it's going to be a Sodom and Gomorrah incident if you guys don't get it together. You can't keep stealing from God's children just because you feel like you don't have access to source. God told you what the solution was for you to get access to heaven without having to go through his kids to do it. You don't want to do it, but you also want you want the glory from heaven without having to work for it. You want the gifts of source, God Almighty, without earning it, without doing unto others what you want them to do unto you. Like, where they do that at? The dark side. You want to steal the rest of your life? No, you don't. But you also don't want to do what you need to do to get what you need to get, and never steal again. And for the ones on the dark side, where God is gonna do what he's gonna do. And we're not talking about a wrath. I don't want to say what it is. Well, I will say this. You're going to need to do something because you already know how your counterparts act. Oh, you got this? Oh, God did what for you? So, I don't know what you want to do. But you're gonna need some protection. And yeah. Because any type of love that is shown, you already know. You know where you at. And you know what they do. But for my light workers, for my light beings, we need to come together. We need to come together because for whatever the reason because of the fact that they don't see another way out, or they don't want to serve the karmic debt. That's centuries. That's what it is. That's the option that God is giving them. They don't want to serve the karmic debt. Okay? Of century long mistreatment that they have done to the society. They don't want to serve the karmic debt for putting implants in us. They don't want to serve the karmic debt for putting hooks and dart programmers in us. They don't want to serve the karmic debt for constantly making and keeping us sick. They don't want to serve the karmic debt for putting black magic on us. They don't want to serve the karmic debt for making people have losses and all the rest of the stuff, tampering with people's destinies. They don't want to serve the karmic debt for that. They don't want to go through what they put other people through. Though serving the karmic debt is the route for them to never ever have to steal again, because God will provide. How is it that you can dish it but can't take it? Dark side. How is it that you can dish it but you can't take it? And that's not for all of the dark side, because again, some know. We got the Queen of Pentacles. And just to let you know, those other planets that's been unveiling themselves and popping out, they're still on the prowl of the dark side too. So the dark side is in a desperate place because they're losing everything. And it's like they kind of knew this day would come, but they didn't know it was they were trying to prevent it, is what I just got. But there was no timeline where they succeeded. But that's a reason why you've still been under this horrible attack, because they're still trying to force the outcome that God is saying is not going to happen, because God says that he's God. He's I am. Right? Remember where you come from. Remember who allows you to be in existence. And remember who can snap a finger to extinct. Right? Queen of Pentacles. Abundance. Tell me about this Queen of Pentacles. Swords. Seven of Swords. We got the Seven of Swords, y'all. Seven of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. Somebody's stealing money. The Hangman. So because these dark galactic beings has been using these people in the physical realm, they've been playing on. So like, and don't ever get it twisted, I don't ever give the humanistic version that much credit of just an entity alone. All right. Unless you're on some Emily Rose type shit. Now, you know, that was completely innocent. So if you know, you know. And so when it comes to the dark side, they're playing on they're playing on people's unhealed wounds. So like, let's say a person went through poverty and they never want to go through poverty again, like no matter what they have to do. Because you have some people that went through poverty and they still not going to do harsh shit, right? Like they'll go without a shirt on their back before they put somebody else in a horrible predicament. But you have others, they don't give no fuck what type of predicament it puts you in, as long as they good, right? So we have the Seven of Swords here because they've been stealing, right? Without caring. And because they've been stealing currency from you, right? Currency in the form of paper money. I'm hearing like they're trying to fuck with your looks. They're trying to fuck with your ability to have the energy to do the things that you need to do. You know, whether that's doing chores, whether that's fulfilling work obligations any place else, building things, projects, hobbies, right? That's currency. Okay? This is why it's been feeling like you've been being stuck. This is why it feels like even when you get 8 hours of sleep, you still feel like you had none. Okay? Oh, and I'm hearing this is also why it feels like you keep getting headaches, or it feels like you keep getting like just in pain. All right? We have the Hierophant. God has been watching. God has been watching these energies steal from his kids here. Okay? God has been watching this. He's been watching them steal contracts, try to steal the people's commitments. And like they're trying to steal from me right now energetically. And this is where you have to learn how to take your power back when they do that. All right. There's different ways to do that. You guys have some money coming in. And they trying to steal it. They trying to take it. They trying to take it. You have some contracts or some shit. Now you guys could have had something, and this is what you wondering, like, what happened to it? This is what happened to it. It's been being stolen. Okay? This is why it feels like you haven't been able to have any movement forward. And they watching. They're watching. So the Galactic Federation has been watching all of this stuff that's been taking place. I'm hearing like the Divine Police Department, the what are you guys saying? The Divine FBI has been doing investigations, has been watching this stuff. So God has been watching, and the Galactic Divine Police Department has been too. Okay, we got the witnesses. Oh, the Knight of Wands. They've been watching these energies steal and be players. These crooks. Okay. I'm also seeing, because I'm seeing the Page of Swords connected with the Seven of Swords and the Hangman, which is both all up right here. So they're also watching you from a stuck place. So even if you feel like you may have little to no movement forward, this could be past, present, future information for you. They're currently in a stuck position where all they can do is watch because of them stealing. So it's like they put themselves in a predicament where they're stuck and they're watching, but it's like, well, it's kind of like, well, I'm still going to do things. So this is why it feels like you're still being stolen from, and it may feel like you have little to no movement forward, and they're in a similar predicament where they're stuck and they're stealing as a means of a solution as they're watching you. Whoa! Tell me why. You got Judgment up, and see Judgment. I'm loving it. I don't love McDonald's, but I am loving this reading right now. Okay, at first I was not. Judgment is called. Okay, Judgment is called. I forget these cards. It's interesting. I love the Judgment is touching the High Orphan. This is my God card. Okay, this is Taurus energy here, and it was. And then we have the Hangman. What is this? Judgment. So the dark side is watching this judgment take place, God. So they're getting their karma. That's another reason why the attacks have been amplified. And I ain't even gonna stop, because I was wondering, I'm like, God, if a person is getting karma this bad for what they did, why the fuck are they continuing to do what they did if the bad karma is that bad? Because they just, it's like, that's because they're mean. It's like, give me your money, give me your spiritual gifts. We're losing. How are we gonna eat? Oh my gosh, our planet is dying. Our spaceships are barely flying. Our experiments to harm people is turning to ruins. We have to attack more. When that's what got you the bad karmic debt to begin with. Right? And this is humanistic wise, and this is galactic wise. All right? Welcome to your news. It's sad, but there is judgment here. All right? And it's painful. It's a painful bitch. It's a painful bitch that's leading to a beautiful place for some and a horrible place for others. And it's time. Sagittarius energy here. It's time. Okay, you guys have been patient. You've been waiting long enough. Archangel Michael is here. This is an unwise decision for them to keep attacking you because they already created a check that they asked can't cash. Okay, they cannot pay back this karmic debt. They're gonna. Oh, they don't have the currency to pay back this karmic debt. Dark side, galactic wise, dark side, any realm wise. All right. So that means they have to get it back in blood. And I'm not talking about as far as getting revenge. I'm talking about how you pay it back. They have to give, and I'm not talking about literal blood, though. I mean, they may shed some, but it's like paying back this karma. If you made God's children go through shit, especially that they didn't deserve, you got to pay that back. There is a light at the end of the tunnel if you do, though. If you do not, okay. If you guys would like to book a personal reading, the link is in the description box. Okay. So, child. They literally have to go through the trenches. You have to, but that's exactly why the dark side doesn't want to pay this back. They don't want to go through what they put other people through because they know it was torturous. But if you didn't want to do that, and if you knew spiritual karmic law, why would you do it? Why continue to do it, especially after you've been warned? You know. I heard because they were hoping for a better outcome. Well, said it's too late to apologize. Okay, because karma, boomerang. What you have done and put out is karma back. Okay, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So, you know, you've been trying to do the best you can with what you've been being dealt with. All right. We have Captain Sage that how? It made me feel like it's hard to get this toxic energy out your energy. Okay. Why has it been difficult? So some of you, so this may look like arguments with family, arguments with but these are karmic energies that the negative energy, but they're only able to be used because of their unhealed wounds and or if they are literally working for the dark side, doing black magic, and so on and so forth. So these are energies. You're not just dealing with the physical vessel, you're dealing with the entity or entities, dark galactic beings that's attached to them as well. Because again, going to that, we will not against that in flesh, with that in spirit. But also in this time, you're warring against that in spirit and the unhealed wounds of the host. Because that's what they playing on. Like a piano. We got roadblocks. So they're trying to put up roadblocks. Yeah, so they getting karma for putting up roadblocks. For trying to block people's paths. For trying to take people's destinies. Like, you didn't think God was watching? You didn't think God was watching? This the Page of Swords and the High Orphan right here. Watching you trying to block them. Block what God told them to go and do before they even came down here. They have to pay all of that back. Or if you're a dark being and you watch me, you have to pay all that back. God is going to give you something when you do. But you have to pay it back. I mean, I don't know. At least you have some certainty that you're going to get something out of it. Ooh. Bitch. They didn't want you to know that you have some I'm not talking about in black magic sense, but some of you guys could. You have some roots that you need to research. You are royalty, but you also need to find out like how deep and how far in the lineage. For those that don't know, right? Because I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am that bitch. See, and these galactic dark beings, look, I heard Akashic Records, use it, okay? These dark galactic beings only know a little bit more than you, just because your memory's been tainted, okay? Something's brewing. So be mindful, and be mindful of your surroundings, because it's like they're concocting different plans in the seen and unseen, because they're still trying to not pay back this karma. They're still trying not to, you know, they still doing shit behind the scenes, but coming off as if they're not. Okay? And in the form of family, friends, lovers, workers. So just because they trying to block this energy for you, like they have been. So move in silence. But this is just letting you know, the shit that's going on. All right. So continue to persevere through, guys. If you want to book a personal reading, the link is in the description box. Okay. Feel free to check out any of our other products and services with the links in the description box and our social media sites. So thank you all for your love and support here. To truly, truly appreciate it. And always remember, you make your own decisions. Peace out, deuces.